Hey guys, so except for my giant hand, this video is about inner work, but more than just going into your subconscious mind, this video is about understanding what it means to be thinking something that is that's not your thought. That's not your thought process. It's been programmed into you. It's called programming. So literally, like there's software programming. You program a software to do certain things, and it just follows your instructions. That software is not going to. I'm not a software engineer, by the way, so this is a very basic explanation. But you program a machine to do something, and the machine does that thoughtlessly. It will never change. It's like a blender is never going to be a washing machine. The function of that machine is never going to change. That is the intention of programming, and that programming has happened through minds which are toxic themselves. So I'm going to give you some examples of this. When you're working on clearing information from your mind, a lot of the thoughts that stop you from reaching your own true self, from realizing who you is are thoughts that have basically been planted in there. They've been planted from a very young age. For example, a lot of us probably there in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Some of you 2000s maybe before 2010. If anyone who is younger than that is there, then hello. But this because I was in the 90s, I was there. That's the kind of examples those are the kind of examples that I'm going to use to explain this. So for example, when in the 90s, especially in India, it was like a thing. You'd come home from school, you have your time, do your homework, have some, go out, play, whatever it is, do your thing. But around, I think 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, there was this dedicated time for TV shows. These auntie TV shows basically at the time, and it wasn't just it was like proper family time. That was considered to be family time. Like everyone sits together and watches this because they enjoyed the drama. They were dramatic shows. Obviously, they were TV dramas basically. And in a lot of these dramas, the theme was, I think, in probably 70% of them, unless they were like kid shows or other genres, the theme was that there's one girl who wants to pursue her dreams. She's considered like the light of the show, the main lead. She's like the nice person. They'll dress her up in white, nice colors, or really bright colors. And they'll show her to be really happy. She's really giving. She's really loving. Giving, the word here. So they'll show her as someone who everyone likes, even if the people who don't like her are shown in a bad light. They're shown in like dark colors. So the whole show becomes focused around this one girl. And when this girl, at some point, she comes to a situation where most of the time it was like they get married and something happens. So when they get married, or when they're ever in any situation, at some point they are shown a very relatable situation where they have to give something that is really dear to them. Basically their freedom. In some form or the other, they have to give their freedom up. They have to sacrifice something that they really want, that they really resonate with. For example, if someone was to, this should make an example here, if someone was to get married, they might have to give up the thought of studying, they might have to give up the thought of doing a job, or if they're working, then they might have to give up on something else at work or at home, and they're kind of seen in a bad light for that. So a lot of different things happen, but basically this one girl who is the light of the show is shown to be really nice. She's shown as if she's liked a lot, and when she sacrifices, she's appreciated for it. She's sad, but she is still shown in a good light, and eventually they show that something good is going to come for her. So the whole show is based around the struggles, and a lot of people resonated with, a lot of women resonated with this because they gave up on a lot of things at that time. The older generation at that time, not me, obviously, I was a child, but the older generation at that time would have seen them like, that's true, we gave up a lot of stuff, we got married, we didn't have this, we gave up this, we gave up that. They gave up a lot of things, so they resonated with it and they watched it. But at that time, for the younger generation watching it, that became normal. So what what was seen in a good light was you give up your freedom, you sacrifice everything, and that's the good lead, shown in the bright, nice colors. The darker one is the one that's kind of like, okay, devious is one thing, when you try to ruin someone else's life, yes, but they would go for what they want. The shows were manipulated in a way that it is shown that, okay, they go for what they want and they do it in a very devious way. It's shown as a fight between like dark and light in a way, but there's a much deeper level of programming happening here, because what's happening is you learn a few lessons in this. If you sacrifice what you want for the good of others, you'll be praised. And a lot of Indian girls, I feel, in the 90s began to resonate with that. I did. Yeah, I was like, if I think about myself, I'm being selfish. But if I think about what's good for everyone, I thought that was the higher good, that it's wrong. That is not the higher good. The higher good is not making your family happy. The higher good is what's good for the world. So if you give up your own freedom, then you are setting a bad example for your daughter, for your sister, for your friends, for your mother, for your grandma, for everyone around you. If you are a change maker, you may upset your family, but it's for the higher good. So that is the reality. But in programming, we're being told that if you if you give up what you want and you sacrifice it, and everyone else around you is happy, you might be sad, but at some point you'll be happy. It's kind of like, kids, a carrot stick. Just, do what you're supposed to do now. So that is the kind of programming. This was a very long explanation, but I really wanted to go deep into it. But that is one example of programming. The other programming that happened there is like with the dark colors. Like I said, they did exaggerate it quite a lot, where they would be like, I want this, I'm going to ruin someone else's life. No, that is not good. But they showed this in a very subtle way, where someone would want to follow what they want, and that was shown in a bad light, just as a contrast, because that person just wasn't the lead. That person was never like the main focus of attention. The main focus of attention was always the one who sacrificed something. Another example of programming would be, I can think of Kuch Kuch Hota as the number one thing, when Anjali dresses up in pink and everyone laughs at her. Okay, fine, they showed as if she doesn't know how to dress. As a child, when I saw that, I was like, I don't get it. It's a bright pink skirt. What's wrong with it? Why is everyone laughing? But it makes you think that, okay, that is the right way to dress. The way Tina dresses is the right way to dress, but the way Anjali dresses, that's not the right way to dress. That's a level of programming. It's just an example. We were programmed on what kind of clothes to wear, what kind of clothes are desirable. And this has happened on TV in every generation, for everyone. The whole point of these two examples is to help you understand that when we watch TV, we are seeing certain things without questioning them, because they have become normal for us, especially because TV has been around when we were little. So we've been seeing that a lot more than maybe the previous one or two generations did, because TV wasn't as common, as it has been for us. Like, for example, for the next generation, like 2000, 2010, internet is really common, but for us, it was new at the time. Like, it just began, dial-up was coming in, things were building up. So yeah, the whole point of this video is to tell you that a lot of the trauma that you're dealing with is not even yours. It has just been programmed into you. And when you're doing inner work, when you work through your list of like, this is what I need to work on, this is what I do, how do I change this? Think about this. A lot of the trauma that has been planted in your mind is literally not even yours. It hasn't even come from who you are. It's just been planted in you. When you realize that, I hope that some of you will find it easier to put that aside and say, that was never me. This is me. This is who I've always been. And this is who I want to continue to be, because you are a pure light. You are a pure soul. You are not going to, your soul, your higher self, is never going to take you on a path like, okay, do this for the sake of your family, or do this for the sake of this person or that person, or do it for validation. That's what I mean. It's not for the sake of family. Sometimes when you do good things, a lot of the time people around you, if you do something really good for your family or your friends, it doesn't mean that they have to know it. If you're genuinely doing something good for them, you should never look for validation in return. That is actually a sign of kindness. That is a sign of true divine love. No matter who it is, even if it's a stranger, your best friend, your family, your mom, your dad, your sister, your dog, anyone, when you do something good for them, they do not have to recognize it. That is when you know that something is truly good. If they recognize it and they see it, great, amazing. That's a great bond that's formed. Maybe they're a soulmate. Amazing. But if you're doing it because you're looking for validation, you need to think what that task is that you're doing. Does it align with your soul? Is it really for the higher good? For example, if as a girl, again, I'm using a lot of girl examples, maybe because I'm a girl, that just come to my mind. So, if as a girl you want to wear certain types of clothes, to be honest, it's the world that has programmed us into even wearing certain kinds of clothes or whatever it is. You could wear whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable in. But if you're being asked to wear something else, which maybe you're not comfortable in, or if you want to go to a wedding, you just want to wear something simple, and everyone's like, no, wear this, wear heavy, da 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 da. If you don't want to do that, and you're being made to do it because everyone else is doing it, that is also some form of programming, because it's kind of like, it's programmed into our minds that when you go to a wedding, you have to wear certain kinds of clothes. Again, I'm not saying that you should turn up, to a wedding in PJs. I'm just trying to make you question things, so that you can follow that for yourself, so that you question yourself when you're doing something. Okay, I'm doing this in my life right now. I'm taking this step. How does it align with my soul? Does it truly align with my, soul identity? Like, is this what I really want to do? Or am I doing this to gain some sort of validation from anyone? When you ask yourself this question, when you clear a lot of things, I feel like 80 or 90% of the things that we do are because we've been programmed or conditioned into doing them. We don't do them because we want to do them. You'll have a lot of empty space in your mind to actually do inner work, to actually work on your own trauma, to actually work on your own things. So, this just came to me as I was working on something, and I wanted to share this. Like I said, it's like quite, this is just one or two examples, but it's gone deep in. But see how this applies to you in your life. What you have seen as a child, or what you were told as a child, that you later thought actually it's not even relevant anymore. So how do you understand who you are? Because your soul will guide you. You are also different versions of yourself, right? But yeah, I hope you understand what programming is now. Programming is something that, if nobody told you to do it, you would probably never have thought about it. Basically, that's programming. You just do it because you've been programmed to do it, and you do not need to you don't need to let anyone else outside you control you. External forces are external forces. They can remain outside. They do not belong here. So yeah, think about that, and let me know if you've thought of any examples, or if you have any comments in the comment section. And yeah, subscribe and like and all that stuff. But basically, I hope that this video was helpful in some way in trying to figure out what's going on and what programming is, and how you can question what you are doing. Don't overthink it, but how you can understand your actions better. It's not about questioning, actually. I mean, questioning is a part of it, but it's about you understanding your actions better, so that we can take more aligned decisions with our soul. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful.